e-begging, a necessity for gracious living. This is Lady Decade. She makes videos on YouTube that she likes to call gaming history documentaries. But in order to understand who Lady Decade is, we must, unfortunately, first take a look at her husband, who refers to himself as Top Hat Gaming Man. Real name Richard Vardy, Top Hat appeared on the YouTube scene around 7 years ago and since then has gained a cult following of around 160,000 subscribers at the time of this video's release. Like his wife, all of his videos are about video game related content. In fact, a lot of Lady Decade's videos are simply just revamps of her husband's videos, but I'm not here to get into that. Today, I want to address a situation that took place a year ago and has since then seemed to have been brushed under the rug as both continue to make videos and continue to somehow obtain subscribers. I had assumed when this happened that more larger YouTubers in the gaming community would have talked about it in order to expose these individuals for the scammers that they are, but that didn't exactly happen. Then as time passed, nobody was talking about it. And although I myself have no following to speak for, I will do my best here to break down what exactly happened and why it can't be forgotten or dismissed. In April of 2021, Top Hat Gaming Man posted a video on his channel about the popular Sega Genesis video game Altered Beasts. In that video, he went on to talk about the late Ray Harryhausen and featured a photo of him in that video. The problem with this was that he used a copyrighted photo that was taken and used for without consent or proper compensation to the photographer who took that photo. That photographer's name is Martin McNeil. McNeil contacted Richard, requesting a retroactive fee of just slightly more than £470, which is roughly about $500 for the usage of the photo. Additionally, he also submitted a DMCA takedown notice on the Top Hat Gaming Man channel on YouTube, citing that his past experiences where attempts to engage with copyright infringers rarely yielded positive outcomes, instead of just paying the requested fee. Richard had his wife, Lady Decade, release an emotional video on August 5, 2022 titled "I'm Scared." In that video, she alluded at receiving menacing messages from McNeil without directly mentioning him. She conveyed the impression that severe legal consequences were imminent, putting her family's livelihood in jeopardy. The sole purpose of that video, which was 20 minutes in length by the way, was to use their following to gain sympathy and use that following as a mob to go after McNeil in the process. Even though they made sure not to mention his name, that obviously didn't stop her and Top Hat Gaming Man subscribers from finding out who owned the copyright on the photo in question and then proceed to go after and harass Martin online, which was exactly what the Vardys wanted in my opinion. The other purpose of this video, which Lady Decade removed shortly after, was to get money.
Basically, this whole letter is like scary legal sounding letter with all of these like points in it, like very legal formal sounding, terrifying scary letter, and like blinding you with science, and you're reading it like, oh, I don't understand all of this. Sorry, man. Sorry. They've demanded that we pay them just shy of £500, which I know probably doesn't sound like a lot of money to... Sorry. I don't have that money.
So to be clear here, they don't have $500. Even though between both of them, they have a large collection of video games and could have just as easily sold one or a few games to cover their fee and take some level of accountability here. But that was never the point of this video. They don't have that money, but they can afford to take vacations to Poland and Greece, and at the time this video was uploaded had also just purchased a new home. But by far the most pathetic part of this whole video was towards the end, where Lady Decade posts a photo of their two young children, which I have blurred out for their protection, and also because I'm not an e-begging monster.
With it, but it's not just me and Top Hat you're hurting, it's my two little sons. Now I have never put pictures of my children for public viewing on social media, but today I'm going to show you a picture of the two little boys that this person is potentially going to ruin the lives of, because if he takes away our income or puts us in a situation where he's took us to court and got us a CCJ and then we can't get credit anymore or can't get a mortgage anymore or can't get loans or anything.
Again, absolutely pathetic. But let's backtrack for a moment. Originally, when Top Hat Gaming Man received the notice from Martin McNeil, instead of just responding to him, not only did he get his wife Lady Decade to put out that video, he had her be the one to contact him via Twitter. Shout out to Funky Spectrum for obtaining these, by the way. I'd like to tell you to go follow his YouTube channel because he was basically the only one at the time doing extensive coverage on the incident, but as you could have guessed by now, his channel no longer exists. I'll let you put two and two together as to why that is, but to summarize the conversation here. Lady Decade contacted McNeil wanting to have a telephone conversation regarding the matter. He politely replied and told her no, that is not how this works, and that if Richard wants to contact him, he provided his contact information in the original letter. At no point did McNeil ever threaten them, even though she flat out stated this in her video and on her Discord. In the end, McNeil was the one who ended up harassed and even received death threats to not only him but his family as a result, and that $500 fee. Another YouTuber by the name of The Quartering felt bad for her and offered to pay it. What a nice guy. The emotionally charged video sparked a predictable online reaction, with McNeil facing accusations of being a copyright troll and enduring threats and abuse. His home address was doxed at least twice, prompting McNeil to involve the police. During this tumultuous period, McNeil maintained silence, emphasizing that, given the ongoing legal dispute, staying quiet was the prudent course of action. Then on August 11th, McNeil received a letter from Richard expressing willingness to pay the initially requested fee. Of course, he could pay it now given the thousands upon thousands in donations him and Lady Decade were able to obtain. However, McNeil declined, believing that the situation had escalated since the original copyright claim, particularly due to the accusations made in Lady Decade's video on August 5th. Communication channels opened between McNeil and Vardy's solicitor, with the latter requesting McNeil's bank details for what seemed like a potential settlement, only for the payment of the original fee of just over £470 being deposited into his account. He attempted to return the money but received no response. Subsequently, McNeil made a donation of the same amount to Clayson Food Bank in the Vardy family's name. So what was the point of all this? It's really quite simple. Top Hat Gaming Man received a copyright notice and used this as an opportunity to try and garner sympathy by using his and Lady Decade subscribers in order to donate money in a pathetic e-bagging scam to continue to afford their lavish lifestyle. Heaven forbid they live within their means. But in order to keep taking those expensive vacations and pay their mortgage, that's where you come in, folks. Again, absolutely pathetic. Then sometime after all this transpired, McNeil released a video giving an update on the situation and giving his side of the story and defending himself. We learned from his video that he is not only a very talented photographer but is also studying law. Definitely not the type of person I would want to risk a possible defamation lawsuit, which I can only hope is what these two con artists have coming their way. But in saying that, it has been over a year, and the only update we have is this statement made by McNeil where he goes on to say the following: I stand by the statements of fact that I have made in the video that I published on October 7 of 2022. I respect that the legal advice given to Mrs. and Mr. Vardy in relation to the same facts appears to have resulted in an opinion that diverges from my own. Setting that point aside, I remain confident of my position and equally am of the opinion that a full and proper resolution of this matter, one that addresses all facts and circumstances, beginning on April 4 of 2021 through to the present, is still achievable in a cordial fashion without resorting to a formal adversarial position. A lot of people have been asking me for updates on what's going on since August 6 with the whole Lady Decade, Top Hat Gaming Man situation, and the really short version, which is probably the best that I can do, is there's nothing concrete to update you with at this point in time, other than its now formal process and has been for several months, and once it's within those gears, it trundles away at its own pace. I've got no control over the pace of development and the pace of progress on it, but it is progressing, and maybe I'll have an update in a couple of weeks. I'm still waiting on word about certain things, but it's kind of out of my hands and in the lap of someone else right now, and we'll see how that goes. You know, honestly, there's other things I'd rather be paying attention to, so I'm kind of grateful that it's not constantly there like a pressure. Something isn't requiring attention. I've obviously graduated from university back in July. I got my first class honors degree. My dissertation was obviously on copyright matter, so that was well received. And I'm progressing on to a master's degree which will be starting in September. And what have Top Hat Gaming Man and Lady Decade done since then? They have tried to cover their tracks. They've deleted multiple posts on their Twitter, their Discord, and of course they removed that video. And another thing I just have to address here before I forget is at the time this was going on, you had guys like Richard Masucci of Review Tech USA and The Quartering, the same guy who allegedly paid the fee, defending them online. This is disturbing for many reasons, but the main reason is that each of these delusional simps have over 1 million subscribers. It's honestly just disgusting. I can't put it any other way. So in closing, where does that leave us? Well, for starters, I am well aware of the fact that since I myself am basically just starting off on YouTube and don't have a following, that this video is just going to be here for the sake of being here and won't make a difference. I am well aware of the fact that Top Hat Gaming and Lady Decade are going to continue making videos and continue to get subscribers, in spite of continuing to come up with new ways to scam those subscribers. But if you are a subscriber to Top Hat Gaming Man and Lady Decade and you just so happen to have stumbled upon this video and had no idea about any of this, I ask you this: are you still going to follow them? Are you still going to watch their content? And are you comfortable with the fact that they have the audacity to do something like this to their fan base? I can't answer that for you. Only you can make that choice. I'll leave a link to her full "I'm very scared" video in the description, because even though she removed it, this is the internet, and the internet never forgets.
Sorry, I just don't. I'm so scared. I can't basically. I can't explain it. I'm so anxious and so scared, and I've got my children. Thank you for watching through to this point. I don't really know what else to say, but oh, surprise, bitch! Pay me this money or I'm going to ruin your life.